It's been a wee bit, but it's time for another JPGivin'er Analysis, baby. In this video, I'm going to analyze 3 races I played in a clan war with Arcadia versus Melodia. What makes this analysis video stand out is that I'm showcasing the 3 big playstyles you should be flexible with: running, pack play, and bagging. I'll be uploading an analysis video every 3 weeks, and I want to start analyzing your guys' perspectives. I've gotten a lot of requests for this, so if you want to learn how you can improve your gameplay from yours truly, let me know in my Discord server. The link is in the description. But enough talk. It's time to start yeehaw there, bud. Starting things off, we got Twisted Mansion. This was honestly just a weird race from my perspective. One minute I'm kind of front running, then I'm the aggressor, then I'm the one getting farmed in last. It was a bit of a weird race for sure, but I think I could have played a lot better here in most cases. Alright, I know it's easy to tell that I couldn't really see Monty before I started trailing, but even so, I feel like I shouldn't have trailed to begin with. For starters, there was no way I was going to trail anyone from MA, given how far they were behind me. And more importantly, I judged whether I should trail or not based on what I saw from the glider section after going off the right path glider ramp. When you go off the glider ramp from the right path, when looking back, you'll have a much harder time seeing who is right behind you. If that someone came from the left path, they'll be in your blind spot. And in this case, that was Monfy. Even though I could barely see him here, I couldn't comprehend at the moment that it was him. The thing is though, that gives me even more reason not to trail in the first place. Eventually it didn't matter because I went wide for coins, he passed me, and we were Givin'er. Or did it matter? This is the part of the race where I was just a complete idiot. I had the right intentions. I wanted to screw over the MA people behind me and keep them in the back so we can control the front. But the way I tried to do it was just embarrassing, honestly. With the boomerang, like, this just makes no sense to me. He's literally right behind me. And here I am trying to hop to the left and back it to look cool and maybe land a hit, instead of just easily staying in my regular line, driving straight, and almost be guaranteed to land a hit. In most cases, this is an oh well, let's move on situation, but it gets worse. I do control bananas and I do land 1 hit, but at what cost? I fell down a spot, mindlessly threw away all of my protection in an attempt to hit the guy when I wasn't fully calculating my shots, and the guy I previously hit threaded me. So what happened? I fell from 4th after the glider to 9th after the second set lap 2. I hit a grand total of 1 person, and that same person hit me soon afterwards. The point I'm trying to make here is, don't sacrifice your top spot to try to hit people explicitly. It's in your best interest to hold your protection and maintain control of the front in most cases. You can later see that my aggression got the best of me once again, where I fireball the guy, but it bounces back to hit me. Seriously, if you're going to play aggressive, calculate your moves. Don't just mindlessly try to hit the other team. Now, this part I didn't play too bad, but I feel like I still should have predicted the shot given that I was in a bottom spot. Coming up to the shortcut, I played my cards right since I wanted to protect my star before training into the second set. After the shortcut, the only thing that would have made me activating my star early not worth it would be potentially hitting A, since I was pretty close to him. And alongside that, target shocking after the glider is usually a much better option than shocking here. But either way, I saw the guy in front of me go into a ghost before the second set, and that should have been my cue to use my star just to be safe. Besides, if they did wait until the glider, there's a chance I could have gotten another star as well, and I could have covered all of my bases, but that's besides the point. All around, in general, I played my cards pretty well, but I still should have used my star upon exiting the shortcut to cover all of my bases. I wasn't able to catch up after these events, so I got last, but even with their shock, we only lost the race by a little bit, so I would say in general, this was a win for us. Next up, we got GBA Mario Circuit. I declared that I would be a runner on this track since I'm starting in first. In most cases, that means there isn't much to talk about during the race, but this one was actually quite interesting, and there are a few important points to bring up. As a runner, I feel like I could have played this a bit better. Not only did I take the wide coins, giving the guy behind me an easy way to pass me, but he took the right doubles from me as well. I knew that one of them would be shrimming up, so there was no way I'd be keeping first, but allowing them to be top 2 was not the right call on my end. As a runner, my goal is always to maintain control of the front as much as I can and get as much distance from the baggers as possible for when they all catch up. I went against my goal and MA had top 2 afterwards. This is a very light mistake for sure, but the point is, don't go for wide coins when you know you'll get passed by the other team in a scenario where it's important you don't lose your spot. It could mean the difference between your team winning or losing. Simply put, I made fireballing the red coming from me a lot harder than it needed to be. For some reason, I thought it would be easier to take my usual line and backfire at the red just before it hit me. Even though I was successful in fireballing the red, I backed another fireball just in case I missed the first time, which just so happened to be the same fireball that hit Ace. This didn't mean much in the race, but the point is, I had a much easier way I could have fired the red. This even goes back to my boomerang mistake on Twisted Mansion. All I had to do was drive straight, back one fireball, and move forward. The red was coming at me in a straight line, so I would have landed the hit no matter what. Altogether, you really don't need to make situations harder for yourself in this game. Just do what will set you and your team up in the best way possible. This is an example of not doing that. I mentioned this in a previous analysis video, but I still feel like it's important to reiterate. One item is better than no items. I was so set up here. I used my star in the off-road cut before the last set. It was almost perfect. Now, obviously getting the double box would have been the best case scenario, but that's such an easy box to get if you don't have people in front of you to steal it, which was the case for Babu since his teammate was taking the right doubles, and I'm assuming they would have communicated that in some way, shape, or form. I should have just taken the single box and called it a day. You may not think this means much, but what if I got a mushroom? I barely got passed at the end by an MA member, and I was in third before the guy hit the boost panel. If I had a mushroom and used it on the final straight, I would have gotten third. That's just how it is. And that's what missing one box can do for you. And you should definitely know that if you have a ton of experience with this game. Missing a box could be worse than getting hit 3 consecutive times. So yeah, remember, one item is better than no item. So don't ignore the single boxes. Believe it or not, we actually tied this race, which means we would have won the race if I got a single box and got a mushroom. Though obviously getting a mushroom at a single isn't a guarantee, but the possibility is still there, and I didn't even care for it. Seriously, don't take single boxes for granted. Lastly, we have Cheeseland. If you thought this race was going to be me being really hard on myself like the last 2 races, trust me, I'm going to inflate my ego like crazy here. At least when I played like a god, because I mean, that did happen. Alright, this was an amazing pull for me. I found myself in the middle of the runners and baggers, so I thought it would be best to make myself a middleman into a runner by golding through the double cut and using my bill at the extension. This was definitely the right call given our situation as a team. The positioning on the minimap alongside how long my items last for, I think transitioning from a bagger lap 1 into a middleman or runner lap 2 was the right call. And it absolutely was, which you'll see why shortly. So while I was filling up, Tomsu told us that MA had shock. Around this time, 3 bills were on the minimap, with the furthest bill in the back being them. Because of this, I predicted that they would shock us out of our 2 bills. So upon getting out of my bill, I hopped off the track, and sure enough, I dodged the shock. While this may seem like a long shot, even if I didn't dodge the shock, this was still worth trying. On a track like Cheeseland, people usually prefer to use shock sooner rather than later because this is a hard bagging track. I knew that their best chance of screwing us over and benefiting them while still using an early shock would be shocking us out of our 2 bills. That's why I fell off here. I knew I had a really good chance of dodging shock, so I don't consider this a lucky dodge. It's 6 of my shrooms got stolen, so I couldn't recover right away, but I still benefited from this a lot, as you can see here. So yeah, the point is, take advantage of every opportunity. You may never get the chance again. Now this part, I almost played perfectly. I still think I played it really well. I came to nearly a complete stop before the guy with Triple Rest took the glider, and that was my cue to move forward. However, I don't think slowing down, not even to avoid getting horned, was the play. This isn't the best example, but sometimes the best play is taking the hit, whether it's better for you individually or for the team. I think a great example of this is when dealing with the blue when you're in first. It's so easy for people to try and drop out of first immediately, and they either end up getting blued anyways, losing even more time, or they don't get blued but fall so far in the pack that they get hit by something else. Is all that potential nonsense really worth not getting blued? I personally don't think so. I mean, yeah, situational, but I feel like in most cases, sometimes it's just best to take the blue. But back to the race, I think keeping my speed up and just taking the horn head on would have been the right play. And in this case, it would have saved me some time too. It didn't matter though, since I still finished in first. Because they got to use their shock, we only won that race by a little bit, but we improvised pretty well. So did I. I think I did a great job at improvising. Look at me go. I'm the best. Let's go. Okay, alright, I'm sorry. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, I'd really appreciate it if you'd like the video and subscribe if you haven't already. These analysis videos are always a ton of fun to come back to. And like I said at the beginning of the video, if you have a VOD you want me to analyze, let me know in my Discord server and we can talk about it. I'm also open to any analysis ideas to keep these videos as fresh as possible because I'm trying to push originality on this channel as much as I can. But with that being said, thank you so much for watching. Have yourselves a fantastic day and keep on giving her, bud.